Hello, my name is Karen Whitworth, and I'm a doctoral candidate at Baylor University in the Education Department Learning and Organizational Change program. My advisor and mentor is Dr. Marquita Foster. In this presentation, I will share my problem of practice with you, a qualitative single case study exploring the role of cultural capital on Hispanic family engagement in secondary education. This video will take approximately 15 minutes and will cover the problem statement, literature review, purpose and research questions, community of cultural wealth theory, my theoretical framework, the methodology, overview of findings, implications, and distribution plan. In the United States, the Hispanic population is growing, and that is also reflected in schools. Of the 50 million students in the United States, 13 million are Hispanic based on the 2020 census. In California, 61% of the teachers are white and 21% are Hispanic, while the student population is 55% Hispanic and 23% white. The predominant culture of the American schools is Eurocentric. But what does family engagement look like in different cultural communities? At a small charter school in Southern California, the administration shared concerns with me about family engagement for students in middle and high school, sharing that their family engagement is at an all-time low of 31% as of 2022. This study focused around examining the culture of Hispanic families at Baylor Charter School and how their cultural capital impacts their interaction with the school and their children's education. We focused on the Hispanic population because the student population at Baylor Charter School is roughly 79% Hispanic. In the literature overview, we examine educational laws dating back to 1921, when they first put in place mandated education for American children. In the Every Student Succeeds Act, signed in 2015, we finally gained a clear definition of family engagement, which is regular communication between the school and the family. Family engagement has been demonstrated to be a highly effective tool in supporting student achievement. It results in improved attendance, better academic achievement, higher graduation rates, lower behavioral concerns, and an increase in students' intrinsic motivation. Epstein, Hill, and Henderson, along with many others, have done a great deal of research on family engagement. Culturally based research theories examine Bronfenbrenner's in 1986 ecological theory of overlapping spheres of influence. He examined how social environments impact human development. Epstein built on his original framework as the foundation of her research on student and family engagement. She looked at how our different social environments impact our development. The thing that her research lacked, and many scholars have noted, is that she didn't consider culture as it relates to family engagement. Bordeaux and Passerone, however, did. They studied the influence of cultural capital on education, but didn't dig quite deep enough. In 2005, Tara Yoso used the theory from Bordeaux and Passerone and extended it even further to develop her theory of a community of cultural wealth. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Cultural capital and family engagement. Schools are primarily dominated by white middle class culture, and therefore the policies, pedagogy, and curriculum are led by that community. However, most schools have varying cultures within their community and need to be considerate of other cultural capital. Factors that influence Hispanic family engagement include their relationships within the school. Relationships are very important. Language barriers, if they don't feel fluent or comfortable speaking English. Socioeconomic status, if they need more than one job, or if they're supporting more than one family member. If they're taking care of elderly family members or children, their schedule may not allow time for them to be more involved at the school setting. Schools need to make sure that they actually genuinely are inclusive of Hispanic family values. The lack of quality programs can lead to dissonance, as researched by Hornby and Lafayette. The purpose of this qualitative single case study is to explore the role of cultural capital on Hispanic family engagement in their child's education at the secondary level to support their academic success. We focused this study at Baylor Charter School in Southern California. 3 research questions are the foundation for this study. How do Hispanic parents describe their experiences interacting with the faculty at Baylor Charter School? Do they feel welcome? Do they feel able to communicate and get their point across at the school? What role does the Hispanic parents' aspirational capital play in their family engagement? What do they want for their children in the future, and how does that contribute to their engagement with their children? How do Hispanic parents perceive the role of familial capital in their students' education? How do their values and belief systems impact what they want for their children's future? The theoretical framework is based on the work of Tara Yoso from 2005. She developed a community of cultural wealth theory, which focused on looking at reframing culture students bring to school as an asset rather than a deficit. Banks and Banks from 2019 explain that when educators value cultural capital, students have more significant educational benefit than those whose cultural capital is not valued in the educational setting. When educators understand the community of cultural wealth, they can empower students of color in their learning environment. Yoso explains that a community of cultural wealth comprises many types of capital that create the community of cultural wealth for communities of color. The methodology for this research study was a qualitative single case study. The approach was most fitting for my goal of providing my readers with an in-depth appreciation of the experiences of the interviewed participants. I really wanted to tell the stories of these families with thick, rich descriptions so that the reader would understand the point of view. The methodology. There are roughly 200 participants that fit the criteria of having been at the school for at least 2 years and being either a first or second generation immigrant family. Of those 200 eligible participants, 7 responded that they were interested in participating in the study. From those 7, only 4 agreed to actually participate once they learned that their sessions needed to be recorded and there may be follow-up questions. The data collection was made of questionnaires and semi-structured interviews. I used a translator who also participated in the study. The translator, whose pseudonym is Anna, is professionally trained in educational translation. She has been trained through the University of Georgia, and she has a job with the school. She works regularly translating all kinds of educational meetings and documents. I explained to her the purpose of the study. I explained to her the questions and the questionnaire in the interview, and she really was engaged and wanted to answer the questions as well. I feel that she was a good choice as the translator. The data analysis came through once we had collected all of the data. It was a spiral review process, really looking at the a priori codes based on Yoso's 2005 work and creating a within-case thematic analysis, looking for emergent themes and then clarifying anything that was still obscure. The findings related to the research questions will be covered next, and related to the theoretical framework was quite interesting. We also made connections to the existing literature, implications for the future at Baylor Charter School, and other secondary schools, school leadership, faculty, and staff. In response to the 3 research questions, the qualitative data indicated that participants in this study perceived that their engagement with the school staff and faculty as positive and supportive. This was only 4 participants at this school, 4 families, out of 200 that were eligible. But of those 4 families, all reported positive interaction. In regards to aspirational capital in their family engagement, the families felt that their aspirational capital and what they wanted for their children's future, they wanted more for their children. They wanted them to be able to go to college and do greater things with their lives, really impacted how engaged they were with their child's education. Additionally, they felt that their familial capital impacted how they raised their children and how they taught them to behave and interact with others. It really focused on their values, and it helped develop their support of their student and their academic success. Connections to the community of cultural wealth theory by Yoso were that we really looked deeply into the assets that the cultural capital brings to the table. We examined the challenges that families place and how we can continue to support them. We looked at the aspirational capital and the ability to maintain hopes and dreams even when things get hard. As looking at Alex and his struggle to travel from Guatemala, we looked that he still has great aspirations for his children's future. Familial capital is underscored by critical factors shaping the environment in children's education. Their strong family bonds, specifically of Sarai and Brittany, and their family time that they spend together on the weekends, really demonstrated the familial bonds that impact their engagement. In regards to connection to the literature, there were connections to educational laws that impacted family engagement. Parental involvement is a significant predictor of student success, and each of the students of each of these families have seen success in school with the support of their families. We also were able to connect to different forms of parental involvement at home or at school, depending on the age of the students. Challenges faced by minoritized family, just really looking at different components in regards to income and living situations and travel to and from Mexico. And we finally looked at cultural capital of Hispanic families and the values that they bring to the table. The implications of this study. We recommended more bilingual staff at the Baylor Charter School. We felt that that was an important component, but that's an important component at any school looking to increase their value for the community of cultural wealth of their student population. To do a needs assessment. At Baylor Charter School, they plan to do one at the beginning of the school year to understand what families are looking for and to be able to incorporate more culturally based activities, more activities to support the family where they're at as they continue to grow and support. Pre-service teacher program training, looking at supporting teachers in development of their skills of understanding cultural competence and the community of cultural wealth. Mentorship programs for current teachers who are already in the classroom and may not have the experience that they would like to have in regards to supporting culturally diverse families. The office staff was named on numerous occasions as being an exceptional provider of support at Baylor Charter School. We felt that having them reflect on their support and the things that they do to help families is a key component, allowing them to reflect on that and then share in creation of a professional development program focused around developing the better understanding of the community of cultural wealth and the different types of capital that families possess. Finally, the recommendation of conducting the study with a larger sample size to verify that, in fact, this is what we're seeing across the board. Just having a larger sample size would give more validity to this research. The distribution plan includes the creation of professional development, which I'm currently working on with the staff at Baylor Charter School. The development of pre-service teacher training for different universities, or maybe as a component of a university pre-existing class. The American Education Research Association's publication on equity is being published in 2025, and there has been a proposal submitted for that publication. And finally, the Association of Teacher Educators Conference happening in March. Thank you for your time in listening to the study. The next 2 slides contain references.